These Utah firefighters are one step closer to having their pay, benefits, and retirement slashed by Republican lawmakers. Despite strong opposition, Utah Republicans have advanced HB 267. If this bill becomes law, it effectively bans public employees from forming labor unions. It would also prohibit new unions from participating in the state retirement system. Authors of the bill promised to make it more neutral when there was outcry, but it is still a blatant anti-union piece of legislation. This is the last thing they need. Firefighters need more support, not less. I'm a workers' rights lawyer. I'm keeping you up to date on all the changes in labor law, and I'm giving you tricks on how to deal with a bad boss. So if you like this information, follow for more.
That I clearly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And my response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate so inside of them and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory, but I think as a legislature, we have the responsibility to create a legal framework that is friendly in supporting rights.
Well, hey there, y'all. So in today's Turning the Tables news, y'all, this bowl of potato salad with raisins in it is Utah State Representative Republican Ken Ivory. See, potato salad was the chief sponsor of a bill that was turned into law in Utah that was pretty much driven by an extremist group called the Utah Parents United. They took it upon themselves to challenge books in state schools for being inappropriate. Based on the new Utah law, something is indecent if it includes explicit sexual arousal, stimulation, masturbation, intercourse, sodomy, or fondling. According to state attorneys, material doesn't have to be taken as a whole in these situations or left on the shelf during a review. If there is a scene involving any of those acts, it should be immediately removed. Enter an anonymous hero. This parent in Utah took it upon themselves on December 11th to send in a letter demanding the removal of the Bible, along with an 8-page list of passages from the Bible that they found to be offensive and worth reviewing. In the letter, this parent wrote, incest, onanism, bestiality, prostitution, genital mutilation, fellatio, dildos, rape, and even infanticide. You'll no doubt find that in the Bible under Utah code. Has no serious values for minors because it's pornographic by our new definition. Get this porn out of our schools. If the books that have been banned so far are any indication for way lesser offenses, this should be a slam dunk. The hero goes on to say, I thank the Utah legislature and Utah Parents United for making this bad faith process so much easier and way more efficient. Now we can all ban books, and you don't even need to read them or be accurate about it. Heck, you don't even need to see the book. Utah Parents United responded to this by clutching their pearls and saying, we believe in following the law. That's all we're asking schools to do. Which to me sounds like they are endorsing removing the Bible since it has so many passages that are not good for minors. Potato Salad was none too pleased to have his bill turned against him and said that the parents' request was another example of antics that drain school resources. For people to minimize that and to make a mockery of it is very sad. I encourage all parents to do that. If they're banning books in your child's school, make sure the Bible is on that list.
A lot of these Utah residents are now finding out on their own because, in fact, let's call it FAA for right now, because a lot of them actually voted for this, and all of a sudden they are all regretting cost of living high. Literally everything is so high on their end right now, and they cannot even afford, basic things anymore. Plus all the things that is currently happening, which they did not expect. Okay, some of them will say this is not what we voted for, but if you check it, this is exactly what they voted for. Anyway, guys, let's take a look at the videos I've gathered for you guys, then we'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to the original creators of these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go watch.
What are all those starving soybean farmers in the Midwest going to do with the 55 billion pounds of soybeans that China's not buying this year? I know Iowa is going to go nuts for making their own soy milk, and I know that Arkansas is going to go nuts for tofu. I'm sure they're going to love their own homemade miso in Indiana, and I know those North Dakotans are going to love soy yogurt. In Missouri, they can send their kids to school with some whole roasted soybeans for snack and then make their own veggie burgers for lunch and dinner. I have never met a person in the Midwest or the South that doesn't love a good veggie burger. Have you? And no more Baskin Robbins on a hot summer day in Wisconsin. You won't need your healthy cows because you can make your very own soy ice cream. And it doesn't stop there. Are you going to be cold this winter and you can't afford your heating bill, but you have a ton of extra soybeans, literally? Well, just simply learn how to make your own spray foam insulation with soybeans. Maybe they can make their own biodiesel too. That doesn't sound complicated at all. See, you don't need to blame others. You can just pull yourself up by your own soybeans. Or you could have voted for Kamala, but I guess she had a funny laugh, right?
New ICE detention center to potentially be built in Utah, and I don't see anybody talking about it. What is going on? According to a spokesperson in Governor Cox's office, they have not been officially notified of anything. So why is CNN reporting on it then? And if I remember correctly, he directly said that he would welcome the building of an ICE detention center in Utah. Let's get to talking about this, considering the fact that we have a massive Hispanic population here, lots of immigrant families or people who are legally allowed to be here who are already facing biases ever since the Trump administration started. We're not good with this. What are we going to do about this? Let's find some updates. Let's do something about it. And I'm fed up. If you're from Utah and you're seeing this and you feel threatened at all by the ICE situation, know that there are hundreds and hundreds of us who don't support this at all and want to help the best that we can.
We now have our first involuntary camps in the United States. The Trump administration has taken 16 acres outside of Salt Lake City, where they are holding homeless people. They're calling it a service campus, but others are calling it a prison. But if you're not allowed to leave, what is it? It is a prison. So it's illegal to be homeless. There is no money to feed you. And it's a crime now in the United States. But we gave billionaires a $4 trillion tax cut. And Congress can't bother to show up to work. But we have started our first encampments in the United States of America. They will receive addiction and mental health treatment, whether they need it or not.
Republican Party set in motion a process that could repeal Proposition 4, the law Utah voters passed to change how maps are drawn. They're doing it through what's called an indirect initiative. That means if they collect about 72,000 signatures across 26 of Utah's 29 counties before November 15th, it will go to the legislature instead of appearing on your ballot for a statewide vote. Once it's there, lawmakers will vote on whether to repeal Prop 4. And if we've learned anything from the last 7 years, if it gets to the legislature, Prop 4 will be gone. And that means we go back to the gerrymandered 2021 maps, the ones that split Salt Lake County into 4 pieces, watered down rural voices, and protected incumbents instead of communities. So instead of focusing on implementing what voters passed, the legislature is now aligned with the GOP effort to move this initiative forward. And for years, they've resisted Proposition 4, pushing back in court, drawing maps under protest, and even threatening impeachment for judges, the lieutenant governor, and anyone who holds them accountable. This initiative is just the latest attempt to undo the checks Utahns put in place to keep redistricting fair. Now, let me be very clear. If you sign this petition, you're signing away your right to have a say in how this state is represented. You're signing away your right to check their power. If this gets to the legislature, it's done. We'll lose the reforms we've built. We'll lose the transparency, the accountability, and the work Utahns did to make this process fair. So when someone comes to your door or sets up a table and asks for your signature, do not sign. Tell your family not to sign. Tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers. We've spent years fighting for fair maps in Utah. Let's not lose like this.
Here are the reasons why we're leaving Utah. And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, then I'm glad you don't get it because it's just the worst. Number one, it's so fucking overpopulated. It is so crowded here, bro. The rush hour traffic starts at 3 p.m. Now, why? It's absurd. I could go on and on about how overcrowded it is and how I fucking hate it. And obviously that's relatively speaking. If you're moving here from New York City or some shit, then I'm sure you're it's not so bad. And maybe it's not for you. But as a Utah native, it's way too much. Way too much. Which leads me to my next point. The housing shortage. People can charge whatever the fuck they want for rent. And you are at your landlord's mercy. For example, I can't even tell you how many times I've been full on ghosted by landlords. Literally, in Harriman, I went and toured this house. I'm working with the landlord, right? We're messaging back and forth and everything's good and well. And then as soon as I tour the house and she meets me, ghosts me. Not a word. Not a word. And my husband and I have great credit. We make great money. We were well overqualified for this home. Why? Why did she ghost me? Riddle me that. That's not the first time, okay? That's just I'm giving you one example. I get ghosted by landlords frequently. It's, okay. That leads me to my next point. Buying a house is a fucking joke. The fact that, what's the median house, range in Salt Lake now? It's 550, 525 maybe? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No. Maybe I'm being dramatic. It's a lot though. And also I can't, my kid's grown, right? I'm not trying to get a little townhome, a little condo. Little condos are, you know what? I can't. All right. The housing in Utah is not worth what you're getting. Especially if you have like a family. Like my kids are 11 and 12 years old. They're not babies. I don't want them sharing a room. Like I would like a yard. Like, I don't know. Anyway, the culture, okay? I'm obviously, the culture. I'm not even gonna fucking elaborate on that shit. But I'm done. I'm done trying to make it work here. Like we've been like trying to like find where we belong. We've been trying to like, you know, figure out like a good housing situation for us where we can like grow and like not just fucking rent till we die. And even when we are renting, like, you want me to pay $3,000 for your fucking crack shack? Get fucked. I'm done. I cannot wait to leave Utah, for real. I can't. I'm thrilled about it. I'm thrilled about leaving this culture behind, the toxic people and the toxic, like, everything. I just can't wait. I can't wait.
Now, even their farmers are also finding out. Did you guys know that farmers in rural area are the major people currently in their FAFO stage right now? Now, think about it. Your farmers need money. They need money to push their farm. They need money to be able to have, better tractors and better equipment to farm on those lands. But now they are not being able to do that, and they are asking you for help, and all of a sudden you decided to give their competitors money other than giving to them, right? And now a lot of them are now freaking out on the internet because they felt, we should have been better, we should have been chosen and all that. They really wish that, other people were going to be the ones at the FAFO stage, okay? But right now, they are the ones actually sitting on it because they are not even able to get exactly what they are demanding from the government and all that. Not only that, so many of them felt, it was better off voting against other people's interests other than voting for their own interests. They didn't think about it. They thought other people were the ones that are going to suffer for all of this. They felt, it was better for them to, vote for this and, have all that is needed. Now, somebody asked a question, what's happening to, black farmers? They've not even seen any black farmer crying out on the internet as much as these folks are crying out on the internet. That's to show you exactly, who benefits more from all of these government aids. A lot of them actually felt that, is the what's it called, the black people or the brown people or the immigrants or the just people, they call them illegal immigrants or anything, that those are the people benefiting more from the government, forgetting that a lot of them are actually using government aids. They didn't know this, or is it that they were just so blinded to even know that government aid was for everyone, especially people who need the aid? People work and still ask for government aid because the salaries are not even enough. You cannot, pay rent and expect maybe you're earning a particular amount and your rent is higher than your rent. How then are you going to substitute all of that? So people have to, rely on government aids. And that's exactly what we're seeing play out in real time right now. People literally have to rely on government aids for them to be able to fund their lifestyle or, pay for basic needs and all of that. But I'm so shocked that a lot of them felt that, people on government aids are lazy and all that. Like the lady was talking about how, landlords just decide on how much they want to put on rent without even, is it that there is no system guiding the amount of rent and all of that? Because if landlords start deciding on how much they want to put on rent, then people are not even going to be able to fund anything. They cannot be able to pay rent because these landlords, some of them can be really, really greedy. So it is better there is a sector that looks into housing, the cost of housing, how much you can charge for housing, per time and all of that. Because if you have built a house over time, I understand also from the landlord perspective that most of them add to their rent because that's their only source of living. So if they make money from rentage, they can be able to fund their lifestyle because cost of living is high, so they decide to add to it. But there should also be a sector that checkmates all of this. Consumer rights should also be taken note of, and people who check the cost of things the cost of goods sold in the supermarket and all of that, just to make things affordable for people. But I don't think a lot of people mind at the end of the day, because Magana is saying that they don't mind to add a little more to their grocery or to their rent and all of that. Now, this is where it gets even thicker, right? Where it gets even harder for a lot of them, because it is like suffering and smiling for them. They are suffering and smiling at the same time, knowing fully well that this period is so tough for them, but they are not even accepting the fact that they had voted against their own interest. They still feel that other people are the problem that they are having. Immigrants, take them out, take them out. ICE, deport them, deport them. Forgetting that these people are the reason why their farms are standing, they're getting groceries on their tables and all of that. But who is going to tell them? Anyway, guys, let me know what your own take are in the comments. I really love to read from you guys, okay? Please do well to like and subscribe. And credit belongs to original creators of these videos. I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Bye.